Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to work on our kettlebell shin box position rack press. The best thing about kettlebells is that there is an infinite amount of movement that you can get out of training with them, and it can all be predictable, controlled, and yield very good outcomes. Because of the shape of a kettlebell, kettlebells tend to force people into better position over time. They also help people develop loaded mobility. The exercise we're going to do today is specifically there to help people work on their hip mobility. The joints in the body are supposed to alternate between stable and mobile. Most people in the modern world have pain in their body because that mobility, stability idea has been thrown off. Your hips are supposed to be mobile so your back can be stable. Different sections of the back are usually stable, mobile, stable. When people sit down a lot, they adapt to exactly what they do. Their hips become tight and their hamstrings become tight, and that changes that dynamic. The hips become too stable. They don't move enough. Therefore, the back tries to make up that movement. That causes people to have pain. It steals from their performance and it generally detracts from their everyday life. By doing drills meant to enhance the mobility of the hips, the spine is allowed to go back to doing its job, and people's overall level of discomfort in their daily life tends to go down. How we get down to the ground is important. We should get down to the ground in the safest way possible. 2 feet, point straight ahead. Step back with one leg. Put your knee all the way on the ground so you're very stable. Put your hand down. Sit all the way through. If you're familiar with Turkish get-ups, that is a part of getting up with Turkish get-ups. We get down to the ground. We're gonna hold with one hand in rack position. The L of our hand will go to the corner or the L of the kettlebell. Get your hand in there, grab with the other hand, lift the weight all the way up. Pinky, wrist, elbow, all on a vertical line. The handle should be down at about a 45-degree angle. If the handle is up high like a barbell, people tend to bend their wrist. It causes them discomfort. The goal is to not have discomfort. Straight wrist. Pressure on the back of the arm is something that you will eventually adapt to if you start with a lightweight and build up over time. The goal here is to have a vertical spine. The kettlebell is on one side, so it is already core work. Our body is already fighting to stabilize our spine in this position. Drive into our shin box. Shin box is knee directly to the instep of this foot. The weight is outside the line of this hip. If you have to, take the other hand, put it behind your hip, drive into the ground to verticalize the spine. Take the shoulder away from the ear. Adjust as is necessary. From here, open the arm up, press up overhead to lock out, bring the weight down, fold it in. Thumb goes towards collarbone. If you have to reset with this other hand each time, verticalize the spine, press, pull it in, roll it in. Open, press, bring it in, roll it in. The kettlebell will end up behind our body. That's what makes it different from dumbbells. Dumbbells tend to end up in front of you. People's form gets worse instead of better. Kettlebells tend to help people push their chest forward and lock out their elbow. Open, press, chest goes forward, elbow locks out, bring the weight down. If you have to change your focus on the way up, do it. Focus on arm lock, chest forward, lean in, then arm lock again. Bring the weight all the way down. To get out of this movement, point your knees straight up. Set the kettlebell down in front, change hands. Other hand, pick up the weight, get it up, elbow towards hip, just like when you're standing. Get down to one side, take the other hand, press into the ground, verticalize the spine. One side is probably more stable than the other side. Open, press the lockout, bring the weight down, feel a stretch in the hip, fold it in, thumb to collarbone. Open, press the lockout, bring the weight down, fold it in, thumb to collarbone, open, press, bring it down, roll it in. To get out, point those knees straight towards the sky, other hand grab the bell, set the kettlebell down with good technique. This is a hard drill. If you've had ankle injuries, knee injuries, hip injuries, or back injuries, one side will work better than the other. For me, My right arm has a much easier time pressing in this position than my left arm. We do what the weak side can do, and then we balance it with the strong side. Whichever side is harder is the side you do first. Limit it. This is not a high rep activity because you're putting yourself in a generally extreme position. Our goal is to stay away from training to failure with this exercise. If you train to failure with this exercise, whatever the weakest part in the line is gonna be the part that goes. We don't want anything to go. So think down in the range of 3 to 5 reps, and then just maybe 3 to 5 sets. Turn it into strength training. Slow movement, focus on holding each point for 1 to 2 seconds. Usually do this after you've done a good joint mobility warm-up, but before you do the really heavy part of your workout. The best equipment for this would be some type of competition adjustable kettlebell. This kettlebell has a seam on it, it comes apart, and you can micro load this weight. So you can start with a lightweight 12K and go up in half K increments until you get all the way up towards 70 pounds. Treat this like strength training, 3 sets of 3, 5 sets of 5 on each side. Start with the weak side first. The better your hip moves, the better everything in your life generally gets.